Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing my October wrap up, and every time I say wrap up now I still want to make that My Little Pony reference, but I will restrain myself for you. I promise. So October was a pretty good reading month for me. We had some readathons and then I was just really lucky and kind of bam throughout books, and I got through 16 books in the month of October, which I'm super excited about, and it's helping me catch up with my reading goal this year, which is to read 150 books. So hopefully if every other month is like this, then I can smash that reading goal out of the park. So the first 3 books I read in the month of October were for the Slay That series readathon. I'd already read the Summer I Turn Pretty series last month for the readathon, and so I had one more series left to go, and that was the Shiver series by Maggie Stiefvater. And so I read Shiver, Linger and Forever. This is, I guess, a werewolf series. It's a YA series. It's okay, I guess. Nothing to write home about, but I really did enjoy reading it. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I've talked about it before in my Say That series wrap up and everything, so yeah. But overall, I like them, and I think I rated each book a 3 out of 5 stars. And then it was coming up to the Twilight 10th anniversary day, and so I decided to read Twilight. And so I got a little bit into it, I think about this far into it, and then the next day, Life and Death was released and announced, which if you do not know, if you've been living under a rock or something, Life and Death is Twilight reimagined with all the characters gender swapped, which I'm holding upside down because it's just confusing, alright, how this goes, like oh yeah, Twilight, and then you have to switch it like this, and it's annoying. It also comes with Twilight too, but I've already got a copy of Twilight. I don't need another, so it annoys me, but fortunately I have to deal with it to read Life and Death. So I was halfway through Twilight, but I wanted to read Life and Death. So what did I decide to do? I decided to read both at the same time. So I caught up to where I was in Twilight, and then I read more of Twilight, and then I read more of Life and Death, then I finished Twilight, and then I finished Life and Death. So I kind of read them both at the same time. I didn't read Twilight from this edition though, I read it from this edition because this is my copy. I guess this is my copy now too, but still. Life and Death was something else. It was interesting. I've done a full review on it, so I'm not going to get too far into my thoughts, but I liked it in some aspects, and in other aspects I didn't. I think when Stephanie Meyer actually changed and made it work, the gender swapping, it really worked and it was really interesting. At other points though, when she didn't change it, it didn't seem right. It didn't seem like the characters would say these sort of things. It didn't say like a boy would say these things. It didn't sound like a girl would say these things. It just didn't work for me. It was also really hard for the side characters for me. Carney, I think Carlisle is called in here, but Carney I would just read as Carlisle. Like all the other side characters who weren't as developed as Beau and Edith, I just wrote them as their normal names. However, the ending is different in Life and Death, and I enjoyed the You ending so much, and like the 100 pages of You content at the end here. I just loved it so much, and I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars just because purely that ending was just worth it for me. Obviously, I read Twilight too, and I think I rated this one a 3 stars. I can't remember, but I was feeling really Twilighty and nostalgic for my Twilight days that I decided to go ahead and reread the rest of the series. So next, obviously, I picked up You Moon by Stephanie Meyer. I rated this one a 4 stars. I really enjoyed getting back into this series. I don't know why, but I just flew for it. Like I read this series in like one day. Each book though, not the whole series, like each book I read in one day basically. Then I read Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. I rated this one 5 stars. As you can see, the series slowly gets better and better for me. It's just the nostalgic feelings here. And then I reread Breaking Dawn. Oh my gosh, I read this in one day, or 600 and something pages. I loved it so much, and as soon as I finished it I wanted to reread it again. I don't know if it's a nostalgic feeling, but this book is definitely my favorite in the series, and rereading this just brought me back all the feels, and I loved my experience rereading this. It was just fantastic. It's just so good. And after I finished all the books, I was still in the Twilight nostalgic. I told myself I couldn't read the Twilight books again because I have so many other books to read. So instead I went and watched all the movies, and my boyfriend watched them with me, so props to him. But it was just fantastic. It was like Twilight for days in this house basically, giving me nostalgic feelings. I also read after that The Short and Second Life of Bree Tanner, an Eclipse novella by Stephanie Meyer. I read this one 3 stars. I like this book, but it's not the best. After that, and after I told myself I was not going to reread Breaking Dawn, I decided to pick up This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer E. Smith. This is my first Jennifer E. Smith book, and I really enjoyed it. It's about this girl named Allie who has been corresponding to this stranger through emails, and then one day the stranger appears at her doorstep and it turns out to be this big celebrity, and Allie wants nothing to do with him after she finds out that. And it's them trying to come together and think if they can be together even though they are worlds apart. It's just a nice kind of romance book. Nothing extraordinary, but I enjoyed my time reading it, and I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. There's also a novella set like I think a year after the book, which I really want to read because the book did leave it kind of open-ended, the ending. So I really want to read it, but it's only an ebook and I don't read ebooks. Like, I can't. They give me headaches. And so I cried because I don't think I'll ever be able to read it. Then I was like, wow, I really want to reread Twilight. I was like, no, you're not rereading a Twilight. I was actually thinking of actually reading this on my channel, like live, like, I don't know, try and make it funny. But I was like, no, I'm not funny enough to do that. And so I just decided to read it. And I read it in one sitting, and it was Nightlight, a parody of Twilight by the Hartford Lampoon. I've had this book for ages. I thought I would reread it again. Like, it starts off funny, but then it just kind of gets worse and more ridiculous, and it just takes things too far. And then I picked up Fault Line by C. Josiah. I picked this up about a month or two back at a book swap, and I decided to read it. This was an intense book, like really intense. It deals with a girl that has been raped and her boyfriend, and how her boyfriend and herself just have completely different reactions to it, and how she kind of changes and becomes a different person because of what's happened to her, and her boyfriend trying to deal with it and trying to help her and be supportive. It's a really intense, gritty novel, and it gets you to the side of rape that I never thought was possible. I don't want to talk about it right now because it puts me in a downer, but I have done a review on it, which I highly would recommend checking out when it is out. But I rated this one, I think, a 3 or a 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I picked up Rainbow Rowell's Carry On, which is a new release for her. Basically, in Fangirl, there was fan fiction of Simon and Snow, the little extracts of that fan fiction throughout the novel, and this is actually Simon and Snow, I think, an actual book of it. It's not the fan fiction, I think it's actual canon in the series. Basically, it's like Harry Potter, except it's not, I guess is the best way to describe it. Kind of follows Simon, who is apparently the worst hero to ever been chosen, according to his roommate and nemesis Baz, who is also a vampire, and Simon can never prove to anyone that he is. However, this year Baz has not turned up to school. Simon doesn't know what's going on. It's really cool, it's really cute, it's romantic, it has gay characters in here. I'm not going to spoil it because apparently it's a spoiler saying who gets together, even though I really think it's obvious. I really liked it, and I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. The reason I'm rushing, by the way, is because my camera is about to die. So we gotta do this quickly. And then I read Eliminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I went to the book launch for this. I really enjoyed this one. It's a sci-fi book. It features a war, a virus that is basically like zombies, a romance. There's a whole lot going on. I have done a review on it, and I highly recommend you check that out. I will leave it in the link down below because that is actually one of the reviews that is out already. It was really good. But yeah, I rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. I got sent this book in exchange for a honest review by Harper Voyager. I have done a review on it. It'll hopefully be out soon. I can't tell though because I have so many videos to upload. It's ridiculous. But basically this is 3 short stories based in the Game of Thrones world. However, they are a prequel to that series. It's really good. It follows Dunk and Egg. Dunk is this kind of hedge knight, and Egg turns out to be his sire. And Egg has a secret. His identity must be kept a secret, as he is actually going to be king one day because he's actually Agaryon Targaryen, which I said completely wrong. It's really hard to say in one sentence. Like, I can say Targaryen, but I can't say Agaryon Targaryen correctly. I don't know why. Don't ask me. But because he's meant to be king, his identity must be kept a secret, and it just basically follows them on their journeys, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed this one. I read this one, I think, a 4 or a 3 out of 5 stars. Lastly is a book that I just finished half an hour ago, so yeah, I'm on to that, and it is Lady Helena in the Dark Days Club by Alice Goodman. This is an unedited reading copy, so this is not actually what the cover is going to be like. I think this book comes out in January 2016, but I really enjoyed this one. I've never read anything else by this author, so when I saw this review on HarperCollins, I asked for it and they kindly sent it to me. I will have a review coming out on this, but it'll probably be closer to the date that it comes out on. I really enjoyed this one. It's basically about this lady named Helen. It's set in like historical fiction, however it's got some fantasy elements towards it, and Helen one day discovers that not all in her world is what it seems, and she's kind of thrown into this world that she never knew existed, and has to kind of decide what's the right thing to do, because if she fights the evil that she's discovered in this world, then it could affect her herself. So she kind of has to try and discover the right thing to do, as well as dealing with the romance and just what people had to deal with back in the historical fiction, especially for women, because she's meant to be getting married soon, and uncle's pestering about that, and she lost her mother and father because apparently her mother betrayed people, and there's so much going on in this book, but I really enjoyed it. It was really good, and I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. So as you can see, I read so much. Sorry for kind of rushing through there at the end then. I just have so many books to get through and my camera is dying. because it hasn't got much battery left. So we're gonna do this quick. But I read 16 books this month, and let's see if I can pick them all up. There's a lot of books. Oh god, they're heavy. I'm kind of balancing them on my knee at the minute. Oh gosh. But yeah, I had a really good reading month this month. You can't see all the books in the frame. It's a bit too hard to show you all. Maybe if I go like this, maybe you can see some more. But anyway, I did really have a good reading month. I'm hoping that I can continue this spout of reading a lot of books. Though I'm hoping that in the meantime they don't fall on me because I'm reading too much. But like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more book related videos from me, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye! I did it! They didn't fall. Look at this pile of books and they didn't fall. Oh my gosh. We are learning things, guys. We are getting there.